this is unarguable. This is a standard thing. I mean, no one can argue about that. But what we can argue about that is the current situation. We need a social peace. We need to calm down the streets. But this doesn't come by the oppression or suppression. This comes by regulating the freedoms of the people, by getting a consensus about what is going on. This is what we are looking for, and this is what we really care for. There is.
How can we get this sense of consensus, in your opinion?
May I comment just one single comment? I want my distinguished friend to give me one single demonstration that was peaceful. Just one.
All right. Shura Council demonstration was a peaceful demonstration, and we see a defiance from both parties to be.
Well,
to
at
be
the
honest.
end of the day, you know, other hands are playing. You know,
there is
that's usually that's the case.
It
starts peaceful and then it ends.
No, but what happened? What happened in this, for example, this exact example I was saying? Yes, the demonstrators went out without getting a permission. This is something wrong. Definitely, we're against, because we have to differentiate between the rule of law and whether we agree or disagree with the law. If there is a law, even we disagree with it, yes, there must be a rule of law. That's a fact. This is unarguable. But from the other side, the police forces were violent, were brutal, and they defined the law themselves. For example, in the law, they say that all the arrest must be done by the police officers.
This is from your own point of view that the police were brutal, you know?
Ma'am, it's not my point of view. It's the law saying, for example, that the police officers must be wearing their own official uniforms. We saw photos, we saw videos of police officers and policemen wearing casual clothes, not informal uniform, and doing the arrest. This is defiance for the law itself by the Ministry of Interior, as well as the protesters did that. So what we need to set up here, we need to set up the rule of law. If any side defied the law, there must be some sort of reviewing. There must be some sort of accountability for that.
How can we reach this sense of accountability, Mr. Aizal?
Accountability is there when there is something wrong by the police. It's definitely, nobody argues about.
That's why we said that it is Mr.
But the point is that it was not peaceful.
You cannot make it general. You cannot generalize things and say like the police were brutal. This is your own opinion, sir.
What I want to tell my friend,
standards for that.
What I want to tell my friend is that there was not a peaceful demonstration. I was sticking my face to the TV screen. And the very first thing they did when the police threw water at them because they refused to disperse, they started to take rocks and took up the platform rocks and throwing at the police. This is not the most peaceful. This is fighting the police to break. And the whole idea of the demonstration, and I'm very sad to see that people supposed to be on the civilian camp against the theological fascists are defending that this law should not be there. It should be there and applied completely and strictly, because the country is being subjected to destruction. It's not a question of difference of opinion. You are a big majority.
A necessity, inevitability, I mean.
No, I mean, I'm saying you are a big majority that went down in the streets on the 30th of June, and you were with us in this.
Sure.
And the small minority that doesn't believe in nationalism, that believes in only if you are a Muslim, you are one of us. If you are not, being a Copt or anybody, you are an enemy. These people are trying to impose this criminality on us. See what they are doing in Sinai. Their own president, for a year, amassed criminals and arms in Sinai, and we are facing this. We are talking about text.
Sure, we've been through this together, hand in hand, and you know.
Sure, we are still in it.
And we're still in it too.
But I'm telling you, the country, when the country is at stake, there is no question about a minority trying to impose its
committee discussing different views concerning the protest law, Mr. Farid.
Yes.
Will it help?
Definitely. Definitely. The whole thing that what clearly, let's put it in a clear, simple words. What we're asking for, or what we see that would be a better situation, that the law must be reviewed to achieve a maximum efficiency in making security and peace for the society. When you have such a law getting out unilaterally with so many out of the standard articles, it needs to be reviewed to achieve these targets. I'm not arguing that whether we need or not. Yes, we do need a protest law. I'm not arguing whether we have to stop the criminal acts by the Islamists or by whatever party is doing it. Yes, we have to do it. But yet again, we have to keep it organized. We have to keep it regulated. We have to keep it matching the standards of the human rights declarations and all the agreements that we have been signing it as a nation, as a state. So this is the whole thing.
Let me say, as a lawyer, that the Human Rights Declaration and the text of our law is far more in conformity with the Human Rights Declaration than the protest laws in England, France, and America, to say three. And any lawyer would study this, put to you exactly where we are, even superior to this. And let me ask my friend Farid,
yes,
would
sir.
you believe to your conscience that any kind of appeasement would have the criminal brotherhood gangs back to the form, back to nation?
Well, let's discuss more about answers. And
I definitely, I mean, there is no way to do that.
That's it.
I mean, yes. Yeah,
well, the Constitutional Committee and the chairman of the committee, Amr Moussa, had said that the panel would start voting on the latest draft constitution if there was consensus on the different controversial articles. They concluded meetings earlier. Lina Hasaballah has more in this report.
The Constitution Amending Committee is discussing clauses related to the ruling system. One of them proposing that the president not pass any major state decision without going back to parliament for a vote. A lot of experts are against this and say that the several different parties in parliament will never agree.
We are still in primary level in democracy, so we have to understand that the such mixed system of ruling or authority is not working even in advanced countries or first world countries such as Italy. Italy is suffering a lot of problems from such a system, and I think for the time being and for a transitional period or interim period for democracy in Egypt must apply the presidential system, because this is the most efficient and quick system in the country for the time being.
As an idea, is a good idea. But I do not think that at the present time we do have enough strong parties. I am a member of a party, but I think in order to have such a system, we have to have strong parties around. And we are still, I don't want to use the word which many people do not like, we're still new on how to apply the democratic system. So for a period, at least maybe one cycle or two, we could continue as is, and then we might think of implementing that system.
Egypt has over 60 political parties, all with different political beliefs and viewpoints. The question is Egypt ready for such a high level of democracy? Many experts think not. Lina Hasaballah, Nile TV International.
Mr. Aiz Al-Arab, well, back to the Constitutional Committee, and the chairman, Amr Moussa, said the panel would start voting on the latest draft constitution if there was consensus. Achieving consensus on controversial articles has been long time in debate.
And it will continue because we allowed the fascist Islamists to be part of the argument. And if it is a theological state, let the Salafis come in. If it is a civil state, it's a mistake, and there will be always an obstacle. And all these distributing roles between the fascist Islamizing trends will be the price to pay by Egypt. It is a civil society. It has been a civil society, and trying to destroy it will never succeed. We have been a civil society and a civil constitution since 1924. Don't come today to argue with me about should it be called civil or called Islamic, or this, we are going galloping back to the 15th century.
Mr. Farid, consensus on controversial articles, where to?
Well, I really would like to say that if we